Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal back with another topic for tonight. I am actually recording this tonight on a Wednesday night, December 28, 2016. It's been a while since I talk about certain topics, but I do have something on mind that I really want to talk about, and it will basically involve every consumer who love listening to their music on their phone, smartphone, cell phones, whatever you want to call it. And so, the fourth quarter of 2016 basically gave us a foreshadowing of our beloved 3.5 millimeter jack or headphone connection. With the start of Motorola releasing their new phones or smartphones without a headphone jack, Apple also did the same thing. They do not have a headphone jack on the iPhone 7. And so that basically says that both companies are providing a adapter or a dongle from 3.5 millimeter jack to Lightning or to USB Type C. And that's how you're able to use your wired headphones. Another way to alleviate that is your Bluetooth connection. So basically you'll listen to your music via Bluetooth with your earbuds, earphones, headphones, or whatever you want to call it. So that's how the fourth quarter basically started in 2016, is the trend of losing the headphone jack basically kickstarting onto, as of right now, is the usage of dongles and adapters. As a business, it's great because you make people buy products and you also make more money out of it. As for consumers, it is an inconvenient because they have to buy more items, they have to carry more items. Not only that, they have to use an adapter to listen to music on their wired headphones. Obviously, to alleviate that is by Bluetooth and a new wireless connection. It's also been seen in speakers and also hi-fi speakers, is the use of aptX. Basically a wireless connection with a higher bandwidth that will put out high fidelity music. Because as of right now, even with the upcoming Bluetooth 5 or version 5, it doesn't have enough streaming capability to output high fidelity music in terms of FLAC, in terms of higher bit rate. Because if you listen to Bluetooth and a wired connection, if you listen to it very closely, a wired connection is still much better, because there's nothing that limits the headphone jack in terms of bandwidth or streaming capability, because it is analog. There's no such thing as digital music, because even though your music is stored digitally, when it is output, it is still becomes analog. That's why there's this thing called DAC or DAC, which is a digital analog converter, which is in your smartphones or your MP3 players. Again, there's no such thing as digital music. Everything is analog. You have to understand that. Now, going back to wireless or aptX and Bluetooth, it's gonna take a couple more years for the wireless connection to have enough fidelity to output music, podcasts, or whatever you're listening to a higher quality and a higher bit rate. Because as of right now, technology as of right now is still not up there compared to their wired counterparts. And that's not to knock them off, because sooner or later the technology will be there It just not right now. So what I'm basically saying is anybody who has a wired connection headphones or earphones, don't throw them now. It's gonna take a couple more years, or it could be a decade to become mainstream. Because you have to understand, aptX and Bluetooth also waste battery. Now, depending on whatever wire you have, your headphone could easily drain battery depending on the volume that you have it on. Not only that, your smartphone could also drain a lot depending on how much Bluetooth that you are using, because some phones out there, and I still don't understand, have a low amount of battery. Some phones have 2000 milliamps, 25 milliamps, 3000 milliamps. We need at least 3500 milliamps to 4000 milliamps to at least use Bluetooth to text, to call, to play videos on our smartphones and games, to at least make it throughout the day without recharging our smartphones. So I cannot wait what Bluetooth has in store. I am strictly excited about the technology in terms of wireless, because that means there's no wires. And not only that, the technology is going faster and faster that I can't even keep up with the whole industry. So I just can't wait for that. Now, as for the current trend of high fidelity headphones or wired headphones, I'm telling you, you listen to it, it is amazing. And all the sounds that you hear from the background, the kind of sounds that you did not expect that was there, is so amazing to listen to. Because once you hear music with a hi-fi headphone, you can't go back. You seriously cannot go back. So I have 3 headphones, so I'm still keeping them, even though I have some Bluetooth earphones that I'm just using for exercise or just to walk around or whatever. But it's just not the same in terms of sounds, because it's just not up there. Not only that, it is wasting my battery due to Bluetooth that I have it on. So the convenience of having a headphone jack on smartphones is great, because my smartphone has Bluetooth, my smartphone has jack, and not only that, I don't need a battery on my headphone to actually listen to music. So that's great. That's an inconvenience, that's an advantage, that's practical. In the consumer standpoint, obviously, I know what they're trying to do, but right now the industry or the consumers are not ready for Bluetooth headphones yet. And I'm saying that yet, okay? Because like I said, in a couple years, that's going to change. Now, I want to talk about the future of the headphone jack on 3.5mm jack. I know for a fact in the future that it's going to disappear. It's going to be a legacy connection, meaning a connection that is from the past, from the yesteryear. Again, right now, it's still going to be here because the industry is not up there yet. But the future of it will disappear. There's no doubt about it, because as phones getting thinner and smaller, there's just not enough space to have a headphone jack. Not only that, some people could say, oh, you could always use an adapter. Again, that's defeating the purpose here. And I think the manufacturers, or actually phone manufacturers, will lead to that point. But right now, it's still not going to disappear, because some manufacturers are actually adding audio amp or a higher bit rate of DAC into their smartphones. That means it can actually power high fidelity headphones. So that's great and all, but the future is looking grim for the headphone jack. And obviously my headphones as of right now will be obsolete in 5 years or so, in a decade. I won't know, but all I know is that in terms of smartphone, it will disappear. Now you can say that it will still be here. Sure, it still be here, but again, it's going to be obsolete. And so that's all I wanted to talk about for. That's all I want to talk about for today, is just the loss of the headphone jack and its future, because as fourth quarter of 2016, we saw 2 manufacturers remove the headphone jack from their smartphones. And so that concludes this topic for today, or tonight actually. And I just want to thank you for listening, and hope you have some insight for me to tell you. Put down your comments down below and tell me what you think the future of the headphone jack or the 3.0mm jack. And so this is Mr. Informal. I will see you in the next topic. Bye bye.